miss the feeling.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For Total Pest Control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hour 1 of the midweek edition of the Clarence Bud Show. Here's hoping that all has been well with you and yours since the last time we had the opportunity to spend some time with you back on day before yesterday, Monday of this week. Speaking of Monday, when we started to realize that Hurricane Sally was not going to impact us directly, all of us here in Baton Rouge breathed a huge sigh of relief. And we figured, erroneously, obviously, that, pardon the pun here, but it's what comes to mind, we were of the opinion we, quote, dodged a bullet. While we were able to breathe that collective sigh of relief, Monday was a day that, sadly, in recent memory, has started to epitomize the state of the capital city. On Monday, at least 5 separate shootings that left 10 people injured, and of the 10 injured, 6 of the individuals were under the age of 18. Of course, now, not so very long ago, another shooting resulted in the death of a darling 3-year-old child. So far, at least at the last report, the last official message that I received, only 1 individual has been apprehended in these cases. That individual was tied to the shooting that left 4 people injured in Baker. It is so very painful to have to continually, over and over and over again, talk about violence here in the capital city, and for that matter, all across our beloved state. At one point in time, things of this nature were relegated only to the major metropolitan areas in our state. As you are well aware now, that's no longer the case. Sadly, of the 5 separate shootings on Monday, one day, all of them involved African Americans. The majority of them, the victims, were either minors or young people. I think it was Shakespeare, and I forget which play it was from. The age-old line, "Something's rotten in Denmark." As a black man living in this country, it's painful to watch over and over again these self-destructive tendencies that are plaguing our community. And quite frankly, as a black man, I don't know what is more painful. Watching these occurrences or watching elected officials and other, quote, leaders attempt to tell us something else is what we should be focusing on. When my community is the only demographic in America where 40% of our future young black males ages 15 to 39, 40% of us are killed by other young black males. The police and white folks ain't the problem. If you, like me, had the opportunity regularly to visit convenience stores and other businesses in the predominantly black part of Baton Rouge, or parts of Baton Rouge, you would see every single day where a huge part of the problem lies. I will be the first to admit there was, I guess you could call it a, quote, narrative that rap music was responsible for a lot of the violence and things going on in the black community. And when that narrative first came out, I was one of those that was of the opinion, well, I don't know if I could, blame it on that. But the more time I spend observing, watching, listening, the more I'm starting to believe that that's a huge part of the problem. Here's what I mean. Frequenting businesses in the black community, it is far more often than not you're going to see young people dressing in a manner, and I understand it's hip, I get it. Back in my day we had bell bottoms, we had platform shoes, things of that nature. I get it. Every generation wants to make its, quote, fashion statement. But earlier this week, we were blessed to have, because school was out, a darling child, one of our staff members' daughter, come and spend the day with us while we shot the show. And she's, I think 4 years old, if I remember correct. So we're talking with her, and we're, asking her this and showing her that and so on and so forth. And she looks at me and she says, "Why you dressed like that?" As in, why do I have on a suit? And I said, well, when you dress a certain way, you feel a certain way. So I asked her, I said, how do you feel when you put on your ballerina outfit? Or how do you feel when you put on your princess dress? And you can see her face lights up. I feel pretty. My late father taught me early in life, if you dress the part, you feel the part. If you feel the part, you act the part. If you act the part, you become the part. Dress like a thug, you'll feel like a thug. Feel like a thug, you'll act like a thug. Act like a thug, you become a thug. Conversely, dress like you're successful. You will feel successful. If you feel successful, you will act successful. If you act successful, you will become successful. It works both ways. In watching regularly, because I'm a student of people, aside from being a people person, watching my young brothers and sisters, it starts to become clear what we are putting in our minds. Now, this is just from a personal representation standpoint, how you present yourself in public. But what we are putting in our young people's minds, if you haven't in recent memory sat in a parking lot of a convenience store or some other business in the black community and listened to some of the music, and I use that term very loosely. If you've not listened to some of the stuff that our young people are listening to and putting in their minds, you have no clue what's going on out there. People like, what's this female's name? Cardi B. She puts out trash. Pure and simple. Utter, gutter trash. And my point is this. When you dress that way and you listen to that trash over and over, day after day, it really, in hindsight, shouldn't surprise us all that much that in one day, instead of breathing the sigh of relief that Hurricane Sally's going to dodge us, instead we end up with 5 separate shootings, 10 people injured, 6 of them under the age of 18, on the heels of a 3-year-old being murdered. At some point, you have to ask yourself, why doesn't the Asian community have this problem? I want to talk about that. But I need to get this first break of the hour out of the way. Marty's about to sit over there and go, can't you see the clock? I said it and I turned it on. So you can't blame the white people this time. You're going to have a stern talking to during the commercial break. Let me get this out of the way. And for the record, y'all, I would so very much rather not having to spend time again talking about this. But when you're blessed with a platform and an opportunity, to whom much is given, much is expected in return. That should tell you all you need to know. Let me get this break out of the way. We'll soldier on with the midweek edition, hour 1 of the Clarence Bug Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican, 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to hour one of our midweek edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is so disheartening to watch the level of violence in the community of people that look like me here in Louisiana. And I mentioned earlier that at one point in time, well, there's really no other way to say it. It was only them people in New Orleans. Yeah, I said it. That's what the prevailing sentiment was not so very long ago. Now, pick a city. Not so long ago, Hammond, Louisiana, on a trail ride of all things, 4 people shot. Inside of a week ago, Donaldsonville, Louisiana, mass shooting there. And of course, Baton Rouge, Monday, 5 separate shootings, 10 people injured, 6 of whom, the majority, 6 of 10, under the age of 18. And earlier this month, a 3-year-old murdered. And of course, in between those 2 days, there was a 14-year-old girl shot and other assorted juveniles shot and killed. What pains me more than anything is with all of this going on, we are allowing ourselves to be steered towards false narratives. Well, we need to defund the police and we need to stamp out racism. None of those things affect what I'm talking about right now. As a matter of fact, to show you how the mainstream media, the politicians, Democrats in particular, to show you how they put these false narratives out there. Recent poll from the Gallup polling organization. You would think with all the hoorah, the hubbub, the hullabaloo about defunding the police, you would think that that is the overwhelming sentiment in the black community. And you could not be more wrong. New poll, well, recent poll from the Gallup polling organization shows the majority of black Americans support police maintaining their presence in our communities. Listen at this, if you would. The Gallup poll asked respondents, quote, would you rather the police spend more time, the same amount of time, or less time as they currently spend in your area? Despite this narrative that Black Lives Matter and politicians and all these other clowns out there are spouting, the black folks that they called and others to ask about this, of black Americans that responded, 61% of black Americans said they want the police presence to remain the same. However much it is you're patrolling our community, however many substations, district offices, whatever you have in our community, we want it to remain the same. Another 20% said they want to see police officers spend more time in their communities. Only 19% said less. So 81% of black Americans said they want the police to spend at least the same amount of time, if not more time, in our communities. Only 19% said less. But if you listen to the mainstream media, black people want to defund the police. At the end of the day, defunding the police, you know who that hurts the most, right? Those who are the most victimized by crime, the black community. But this is the narrative that they use to steer you where they want you to be. 81% said either the same amount of presence or more presence. Do you ever wonder why other ethnic demographics aren't suffering at the same rate and the same fate as the community of people that look like me? I would venture a guess, at least in the Asian community, you don't see or hear anywhere near the degree of them calling their moms, their sisters, their aunts, their girlfriends, B's and H's. In all of the music, in the conversation, you don't see them being the only demographic that feels it's okay to show the rest of the world your underwear. Now, maybe respecting one's self, one's elders, and others in the community is something that is serving them well. When I was growing up, and listen, y'all, I get it. It's a different day. I understand it. It's a different day. But when I grew up as a baby boomer, all black community, we didn't have these problems. And it was due in large part to walk down Crockett Drive, the neighborhood I grew up in, Price Place subdivision. Walk down the street in Crockett Drive, on Crockett Drive, with your pants hanging off your butt and see what would happen. Be in the neighborhood pickup game in the back, in the vacant lot behind somebody's house, and the mom or the dad or the kids for that matter that were inside the house right next to where the pickup game was going, and you throwing around B's and H's talking about your sisters and your aunts and your moms and your girlfriends, and see what would happen. Nowadays, you better not say nothing. I think I've related this story to you before. Not so very long ago at a convenience store, I'm stopping to get gas, and guy pulls up and every window within a block is shaking because the music's so loud. And of course, every other 3-4 words is B word, H word, N word, what have you. And bless her heart, there is an elderly woman parked next to me. And you could see the look on her face. She's terrified. So I'm standing in line, and the guy gets out of his car, leaves the music on. B word, N word, H word flying like 40 going north for all to hear. So I'm in line behind this guy, and I said, "Excuse me, brother, I don't mean no harm, but maybe next time you might consider turning it down. I mean, this, elderly sister here is, kind of shaken up by all of it." Dude didn't bat an eye. He looked at me and said, "That's my radio. I paid for it. I listen to what I want, the way I want, anytime I want." I said, "Yes, sir, brother. Have a nice day." Right then I realized this guy has, number one, no respect for himself. Number two, has no respect for anybody else. Number three, has no concept of the fact that your rights only extend this far, the tip of your nose. Anything after that, you're stepping on somebody else's right. Now, pull up in front of his house with 400 watts of subwoofers, 49 tweeters, half of which are busted, by the way, and put on some Jim Neighbors or some Dean Martin and watch what happens. "You ain't got no right to be outside my house. Turn that down." You see where that goes? But this is my radio. I paid for it. I listen to what I want, the way I want, anytime I want. No concept of respect whatsoever. Clarence, you're the one that's always saying, "It's America. You got a right to do these things." Well, I simply ask you this. How's that working out for us in the black community? Lucky enough to dodge a hurricane, but instead of breathing a sigh of relief, 5 separate shootings, one day, 10 injured. Thank God the fatality rate was not as high as the shooting rate or the victims. And the majority of them under the age of 18. Something's rotten in Denmark, y'all. We got to fix this. Bottom of the hour break. Up next, Dr. Loren Scott, LSU economist, talking about what is 21-22 going to look like in Louisiana after COVID, hurricanes, and everything else. That's next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up.
Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to hour one of our midweek edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. It is that time of year again where a dear friend of ours, a dear friend of all of Louisiana, especially in economic circles is concerned, does his magic. And bless his heart, I was thinking about him last night in making preparations for this segment. This is probably the most Advil, Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin, antidepressants he's had to consume in his lifetime. Talking about Dr. Loren Scott, LSU economist and our go-to guy for forecasting our economic future here in Louisiana. Recently, just days ago, releasing the 21-22 economic outlook for our state. Dr. Scott, good morning, my friend, and how are you today?
Doing great, Clarence. How about you, man? Thanks for having me on, okay?
You're quite welcome, sir. So was this the most complex forecast ever for you, having to factor in COVID-19, Hurricane Laura, everything else going on these days?
Yeah, it was one of the worst. I mean, the good news is I have a co-author now, a guy named Greg Upton from the LSU Center for Energy Studies, a great asset for us on the team.
Okay.
And we spend a lot of time looking at this. There is so much uncertainty. You mentioned some of it. Is there going to be a vaccine? When is it going to be a vaccine? Will it be enough to go around? That sort of thing.
Right.
But also, there's a presidential election. Don't forget that.
True.
And that presidential election can radically impact what's going on here in our state. So we had to deal with a lot of stuff. So there's a lot more scientific guessing in this one than any of them that we've ever put out before.
I like that phrase, scientific guessing. I've never heard that one before. So based upon your research, based upon your, quote, scientific guessing, what sectors of employment and what geographical sectors do you foresee being hit the hardest?
Well, oddly enough, for the first time in history of watching different kinds of recessions, the hardest hit area by far has been the leisure and hospitality area. Mm-hmm. This includes your restaurants, this includes your hotels, your convention business,
right,
your tourism business. It also includes casinos and racinos, which there are about 16,000 people employed in our casinos and racinos, and they were closed, completely closed from the middle of March to the middle of June.
Right.
So oddly enough, that area lost about 46% of its jobs in April, our first month of shutdown.
Right.
So it was by far the hardest hit area.
What about geographically? Conventional wisdom from us lay person's point of view would tend to say Hurricane Laura and the Calcasieu, Cameron, Lake Charles area, probably because of the amount of devastation there, would be hit the hardest?
Well, two things on that. Number one, the hardest hit area, we put out our forecast before Laura hit. Okay, so Laura's not really taken into account.
Okay.
But the hardest hit area by far was New Orleans. And the reason for that is New Orleans is the tourism city. Mm-hmm. It is the convention city.
Right.
It has the third largest casino market in the state. I mean, it is just, it's been murdered by this. Mm-hmm. In the case of Lake Charles was hit very hard for three reasons. Number one, there was the construction sector really took it on the chin during this time period.
Right.
A lot of projects were delayed. The second thing was Lake Charles has the largest casino market in the state, 5,400 people employed.
Wow.
On the hurricane, people may be surprised to learn this, but if you look at the impact of Rita, for example, on Lake Charles,
right,
Lake Charles actually grew after Rita, didn't decline. And the reason for that is all the damage in Lake Charles, as was the case this time around Laura, was due to wind, not flooding. In New Orleans, it was due to flooding. In Lake Charles, it's due to wind. And what happens is your homeowner's insurance kicks in. So there is going to be a tremendous amount of money flowing into Lake Charles to rebuild the area. And that's one of the things that's probably going to cause their employment, after going down a bit in this quarter here, to start going up again fairly quickly.
So, again, drawing upon your scientific guessing skills, what regions and what areas of employment do you expect will fare the best?
Well, I think we're thinking the areas that will fare the best are the Baton Rouge metropolitan area and the Lake Charles Baton Rouge area, because we see, again, I've already mentioned why Lake Charles will come back, but also there are there are some very large industrial projects that we think will announce a final investment decision to go forward in both of these areas. We think the construction sector will come back. And oddly enough, the one sector of the state that has done really well during this epidemic has been state government. State government employment has actually risen during this time period. It's one of the few the only sector of the state where it has risen, and they also got a raise. Now, I'll let you kind of absorb, the listeners absorb that for just a minute.
Right.
Compared to what was going to happen in the private sector, this is very different. Well, Baton Rouge is the home of the state capitol and all the state agencies, so that's really helped Baton Rouge recover a lot faster than some others.
Speaking of recovery, what is your best guess as far as how long a process we're talking about with recovery?
And that's really going to depend upon the area. If you think about the state as a whole, we think this is going to be not a V-shaped recovery, but a Nike swoosh shaped recovery. Right now, we are predicting that the state will not get back all the jobs lost until 2023.
Wow.
And one of the primary reasons for that is because of the oil and gas sector. We think the oil patch, especially Lafayette and Houma, will be much slower coming back because of what we think is going to happen to oil price. We don't think oil price is going to pop back very quickly. If that's the case, the oil sector is just going to be a bit of a drag on us. It'll keep us about a year behind what the national economy's recovery will be like.
Conversely, any idea as far as what you anticipate the fastest sectors to recover will be?
Well, I don't know. State government has been the fastest by far to recover. And I think probably after that, retail trade has really popped back very quickly from this, as it turns out. So I think the retail trade sector will probably be this. This is an odd deal, Clarence, in that this is the first recession I think this country's ever been through that was led downward by the services sector. Usually the services sector is fairly solid. It's the manufacturing sector that takes us down or something like that, or housing. But so this is really strange, but it's coming back. The third quarter numbers are looking pretty darn good in terms of the retail sector coming back.
What about local municipalities and their governments? How do you anticipate them faring through all of this, Dr. Scott?
Well, unlike the state, the local governments have had a much harder time. And they rely very heavily on sales tax collections and licenses and fees and things like that. And that sector has been hit pretty hard by this and has recovered very, if you look at the hardest hit month was April. Everything got hit very hard in April. Since April, we've recovered about 49% of the jobs that we lost in that month, that first full month of shutdown.
Right.
And the local government has been one sector that has been one of the slower growing. People may be surprised to hear this, but the healthcare sector has been one of the slowest to recover.
Really?
And the primary reason for that is people don't want to go to the dadgum hospital, right? They're not going to the doctor's office. They're not going to the clinics. They're afraid to, and they're postponing voluntary surgery, elective surgery.
Right.
So the healthcare sector has been very slow to come back, as it turns out.
Finally, Dr. Scott, if, God forbid, we were to find ourselves victimized by Mother Nature again with yet another hurricane, that would really throw yet another monkey wrench into the gears, would it not?
It would throw another monkey wrench into the gear. What you would hope before God is that whatever hurricane hits, it does not cause flood damage. Because read your homeowner's insurance policy. It does not cover flood damage. And that slows the heck out of things recovery down. That's why New Orleans is still several thousand, tens of thousands of jobs below where they were before Katrina hit.
Right.
It's because they were damaged by flood. So if we can avoid the flood hit, that'll sure help in terms of a recovery effort.
Dr. Loren Scott, LSU economist extraordinaire. I know you've got another appointment. I thank you sincerely, my friend, for taking some time to spend with us. And if you get a huge box of Tylenol gift wrapped for Christmas, you'll know that came from me, Loren.
Okay, Clarence, I really appreciate it, buddy. Y'all take care.
You do the same, my friend. Stay safe. It is pretty much what we expected, those of us that watch these things for a living. And again, I don't know how many of you paid attention when Dr. Scott mentioned just now his forecast issued less than a week ago virtually, by the way, for the first time done in a virtual setting for 21-22. That forecast had already been put together before Hurricane Laura. So there could be some adjustments that need to be made in that as well. We will keep an eye on it, and hopefully all of us will do our part to help our great state and our beloved Louisiana recover as quickly as possible and hopefully be bigger and better than we've ever been before. We need to bang out the final break of hour one. We'll get that out of the way, and we'll come back and talk more with you right where you've got it, here on the midweek edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Exiles from what, you ask? Exiled from the radio, but now we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to Hour 1, final segment of Hour 1 of the midweek edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. As we get closer and closer and closer to the presidential election for 2020, last I heard, and sometimes I just have to divorce myself from presidential politics because the claims that are out there, particularly coming from the left, have gotten so outrageous, it's just unreal. But if memory serves correct, we are somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 some odd days, lower 50s, before the presidential election. And of course, you are going to hear all sorts of people make all sorts of claims trying to sway your vote, help you make up your mind, those of you that are as of yet undecided. Couple of things. One, I implore you, when it comes to presidential polling, I wish I had something on the set that I could just grab and throw away in a very graphic fashion. And that would tell you how much I think you should believe these presidential polls. Lest we forget, the media and the polling organizations, for that matter, all but assured us 4 years ago that really didn't make no sense for y'all to vote because Hillary Clinton's going to win. Pure and simple. There's no way on God's green earth that Hillary Clinton is not going to win. I mean, after all, she's leading in this poll, she's ahead in this state, that state. Wrong answer. So let me implore you to do your research, do your homework, cast your ballot, and pay no attention to all of the tricks that are going to be heaved your way. What I am interested in finding out this time around is what group of Hollywood bigwigs are going to threaten us with leaving the country if President Trump wins re-election. Remember this? Prior to last presidential election, all sorts of so-called celebrities told us that if Donald Trump wins, we're leaving America. We're moving out of here. We're going to Spain, we're going to Canada, we're going to Africa. If Donald Trump wins, we're out of this camp. We're out of here. We're gone. Bye-bye. Adios. Sayonara. See you later. Just on a whim, thinking about this last night, I started wondering, I remember this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I remember a whole bunch of them saying, if Donald Trump wins, I'm leaving America, I'm moving. So just on a whim, I pulled up the list of the most well-known Hollywood celebs that said they would leave if Donald Trump won. Amy Schumer threatened to leave. Still here. Jon Stewart, political satirist, threatened to leave. Where is he today? Still here. Chelsea Handler, comedian, I'll use that term loosely, said she'd moved to Spain. Where is she today? Still here. Barry Diller, founder of IAC Interactive, threatened to leave. Where is he today? Still here. Lena Dunham, creator of Girls, I have no idea who that is, don't really care, said she'd moved to Vancouver. Where is she today? Still here. Keegan-Michael Key said he'd moved to Canada. Where is he today? Still here. This one, this one blew me away. And I knew it was a lie, like so many other things he does, the minute it rolled off his lips, but that's beside the point. Al Sharpton said, quote, if Donald Trump is the nominee, I'm open to support anyone on the other side, while I'm also reserving my ticket out of here if he wins. And I guess we all know by now that Al Sharpton, still here. Eddie Griffin, comedian, When asked where he would move, he said Africa. Where is he? Still here. Amber Rose, supermodel, said she'd leave. Where is she? Still here. Samuel L. Jackson, actor, said, I'm out of here. I'm moving to South Africa. Where's old Sammy these days? Still here. George Lopez, comedian, said, I'm leaving. Where is he? Still here. You're going to like this one. Cher, singer of Sonny and Cher fame, or just Cher since it's no more Sonny, when asked, where you going to move to? After she proclaimed to us that if Donald Trump wins, she's leaving America. So they asked her, well, where you going to? Her response, Jupiter. For the record, Cher, you've been on Jupiter long before Donald Trump even ran for office. You've been on another planet in your mind for a long time. Barbara Streisand, singer, said, I'm moving either to Australia or Canada. Where is she? I think you already know that question was rhetorical. Raven Simone, actress and co-host of The View, said, I'm leaving. Donald Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada. Where do you think homegirl lives? Spoiler alert, it ain't Canada. Whoopi Goldberg, actress, co-host of The View, said, I'm leaving. Quote, I don't want it to be America. Maybe it's time for me to move, you know. Anybody know where Whoopi still lives? Yep. Miley Cyrus. I'm leaving. Quote, my heart is broken into 100,000 pieces. I'm moving if this is my president, and I don't say things I don't mean. And where she live? Yeah. Liars and hypocrites, the lot of them. Liars and hypocrites, every freaking one of them. I guess they thought that we were all gonna say, oh my God, Miley Cyrus is gonna leave us. If Donald Trump wins, I gotta go out and vote for Hillary. I guess Samuel L. Jackson said, they gotta be thinking, we can't let Sam leave. Samuel L. Jackson? Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We need to hurry up and go out and vote for Hillary. Newsflash, y'all. We don't care what you think. And quite frankly, for white people watching right now, I don't know how many of y'all know this. In the black community, we have a thing called suppers, okay? We sell dinners to raise money for certain things, okay? Organizations, charitable causes, people in need, whatever. We throw a supper. If all these folk want to leave, y'all know about black people and their fried chicken. Put me down for 50 chicken dinners. I'll donate the money to help buy you a ticket to get out the country I love. You gonna threaten us, you gonna leave if he wins. Well, what you still doing here? What's the old saying? let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Because we won't miss you. So just so you know, you probably get ready. If he wins re-election, this time I'm leaving for sure. Well, I'll help you. Just let me know. I promise. No, do you promise you gonna leave if he wins re-election? Get ready, y'all, because you about to start hearing all kind of stuff the closer we get to election day. Hour 2, next. Stay close.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back as we kick off hour 2 of our midweek edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You didn't do the air traffic controller thing, Marty, so I just picked the camera, and I guess Alan will follow me this time instead of me following you. As there's an old saying, politics makes strange bedfellows. For those of you that have never heard that adage or don't quite understand what it means, in the interest of getting certain things done in politics, many times opposing sides have to come together to find common ground. Politics makes strange bedfellows. If you could say it another way, more succinctly, you get in bed with a lot of folk that you wouldn't think you'd be in bed with when you get in politics in the interest of getting certain things done. Not so very long ago, I'm having a conversation with dear friend, Marty. And I forget what we were talking about. I know it had something to do with liberals. And Marty said to me, well, you know what Malcolm said about that, right? Malcolm X. I said, no, I don't know. What did Malcolm X say about that? He said, go home and look it up. And we'll talk about it later. This was maybe a month ago. So I told him, okay, I'm gonna do that. And being a man of my word, I went home and I researched it. This week, following the attempted murder of 2 Los Angeles law enforcement officers, the city manager of Linwood, California, who now finds himself probably going to be fired before long, the city manager tweeted on Twitter how he was hoping that the officers would make a full recovery and condemning the shooting. But all of this was under a picture of Malcolm X with the caption and the quote, "Chickens coming home to roost." It was a very thinly veiled attempt, a backhanded attempt to say, well, yeah, I'm sorry for the officers, I hope they recover, but they got what they deserved. In the court of law, you all have watched lawyer shows, court shows before, where the judge has restricted the questioning of a witness to certain parameters. And either the defense attorney or the prosecuting attorney will ask a question. On rebuttal, when the other side gets to question the witness, they will object. Say, no, that question's out of bounds. And the judge will tell him, no, you opened that door, so I'm going to allow it. Since you decided, Mr. City Manager from Linwood, California, since you decided to bring Malcolm X into the picture, let's talk about it. Now, for the record, let me say this. I grew up in a military household, okay? In my generation, baby boomers, black people in particular, the 2 most influential black men in our history were Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. I mentioned I grew up in a military household. My father, sergeant, 27 years, U.S. Army, go Army, beat Navy. So it goes without saying that I related more to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. than I did Malcolm X. But again, politics makes strange bedfellows. And since this city manager from Linwood, California decided to open the door and bring in Malcolm X, let's talk about this. When my buddy Marty said to me, well, you know what Malcolm X said about white liberals, right? I had no idea. So I researched it. Let me give you some quotes. Oh, did I find it? Did I find it? Oh, yeah, Marty, I found it. Let me give you some quotes from Malcolm X regarding white liberals. The white liberal is the worst enemy to America and the worst enemy to the black man. The liberal is more deceitful than the conservative. The liberal is more hypocritical than the conservative. The liberal represents hypocrisy. Another quote. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere. He is the most deceitful. Another quote. If the Negro wasn't taken, tricked, or deceived by the white liberal, then Negroes would get together and solve our own problems. Another quote. The worst enemy that the Negro has is this white man that runs around here drooling at the mouth, professing to love Negroes and calling himself a liberal. And it is following these white liberals that has perpetuated the problems that Negroes have. Another quote. The white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship, allegiance, and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a tool in his political football game. Another quote. The white liberal controls the Negroes and the Negro vote by controlling the Negro civil rights leaders. The Democrats get Negro support, yet the Negroes get nothing in return. The Negroes put the Democrats first, yet the Democrats put the Negroes last. Another quote. Hang on, I'm scrolling down. There's so many of them, I had to just pick certain ones. Another quote. Most politicians don't want to wake Negroes up. They want Negroes to register and stay asleep so they can hitch the Negro vote to their particular wagon. But you never hear any of the Negro leaders talking about waking the Negro up, making him intellectually and politically mature. They just say, quote, get him to register. And if he registers in the mental condition that he's in now, any politician can come along and use him. Another quote. I only cite these things. This is Malcolm. I only cite these things to show you that in America, the history of the white liberal has been nothing but a series of trickery designed to make Negroes think that the white liberal is going to solve our problems. Our problems will never be solved by the white man. There's more I could share with you, but I'm up against the clock for this break. These are not the words of Clarence Buggs. That's Malcolm talking. Now, don't take my word for it. Look it up. Do the research. Find out for yourself. And when you finish doing that, do a little juxtaposition. Look at where black folk were then, when Malcolm X made these statements almost 60 years ago, and look at where black folks are now. You'll figure it out all by yourself. Again, for the record, I grew up in a military household, so I related a whole lot more to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. than I did to Malcolm X. But politics truly does make strange bedfellows. And ironically, it was a white guy that asked me, well, you know what Malcolm said about this, huh? If he knows about it, you ought to know about it. Now, y'all can get mad with me if you want. I don't care, quite frankly. I'm a big boy. I'll get over it. This ain't the first time y'all to be mad with me. Ain't gonna be the last. But at the end of the day, you will never, ever be able to say, Clarence, you knew this and you didn't tell us. Not on my watch. Just saying. We need to get the first break of hour 2 out of the way. We'll do that, and we will come back, and Marty gonna give us some more pearls of wisdom too, as we continue the Wednesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Of the midweek edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, it, and trust me, English teachers, forgive me in 3, 2, 1. I ain't about to make no apologies for it. I love my country. Growing up in a military household with a father that wore the uniform of the United States Army for almost 30 years, I love me some God and country. And it pains me to see this point where we've arrived where people get offended by the flag and people get offended by patriotism. I was enlightened not long ago by an awesome woman, her husband notwithstanding. And she put together a music video that said it better probably than I ever could. So we're going to give you a little bit of a treat in this segment and expose you to Debbie Traylor and this absolutely awesome music video. Now I'm going to give you a heads up. If you don't like America, you better grab the remote, hoss, because this ain't for you. But if you're like me, and you are a God-fearing flag waving, freedom loving American, well, this is for you.
I worked in your fields this morning. I've traveled your highways today. Used a creek and a rainbow for a road map, and a tree for a chapel to pray. I'm so proud to sing your praises and to live in the land of the free. I'm just one of your children who loves you. Your home, sweet home to me. United States of America, where I can be whatever I can be. Free to think as I choose, right or wrong, win or lose, where my only limitation is me. United States of America, I believe in the red, white, and blue. And I thank you for all you've done for me. And I'll do my best for you. United States of America, hallelujah, we love you. And as a citizen of my country, I believe it is my duty to obey your laws, to try to be a worthy individual, a positive example, and a productive and responsible citizen, to be informed and concerned about our nation's affairs, and to voice my beliefs constructively, to practice diligently an attitude of brotherly love and hold no hatred against anyone. And if one of my brothers makes a mistake, be he peasant or president, I will try to treat him as I would want to be treated, with compassion and understanding. And I will continue to be proud to pay taxes for the opportunity to live in the greatest nation in the world, a nation born out of faith in God and sustained only if that faith and the support of the American people remain strong. United States of America, hallelujah, we love you. United States of America, hallelujah, we love
Oh.
How you gonna follow that?
Right. How am I supposed to follow that? I was hoping that there would be enough time after one particular shot in that video for me to compose myself. I spent probably 25 years in media, 25 of my 40 doing news. And I was known as being unflappable. Nothing would stop this smooth, even delivery during news. I can laugh about it now. I've had guys, DJs, traffic guys, that when I'm working with them, I've had people actually moon me through the glass, trying to get me to to laugh or stumble during a story would never happen. Unflappable. But watching that video, and I don't know, I kind of assumed, because I was watching and doing some other things, I kind of assumed that it was probably Arlington National Cemetery. The shot of all of the headstones, the grave markers, all perfectly aligned, all symmetrically, absolutely perfect. My late father has one just like it at Port Hudson National Cemetery in Port Hudson. This thing is bothering the dickens out of me, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill it in case y'all hear something crazy. It's a big old ant on the microphone, on the windsock. Okay, got him. Bet y'all never seen that before. Live TV, you gotta love it. Unless you're watching after 10 o'clock tonight, in which case it's a replay. But I'm sitting there watching that video, and in my mind, I see my father's headstone just like it. And I don't know how many of you know or not, those of you that grew up in military households or have served and are serving know this, but the general public probably does not. At Port Hudson National Cemetery, where my father is buried, his grave is here with the headstone. When my mother passed a couple of years back, because she was the spouse of a veteran, her casket was placed on top of his, and her inscription is on the other side of his headstone. So it's Sergeant First Class Edward C. Buggs, United States Army, the dates, born, died, on one side. His casket is at the bottom. She is now interred on top of him, and her inscription is on the other side of his headstone. Seeing those military grave markers just now in Debbie Traylor's video, powerful. And listen, I get it, I understand. Not everybody is privy to the military life. Not everybody understands the sacrifices that these men and women make and made on our behalf. I get it, not everybody is privy to that. But that is about as powerful a visual image as you can get. And those men and women interred in those cemeteries didn't threaten to leave this country if so-and-so became elected or what have you. They stepped up and answered the call, and they put their lives on the line for all these idiots out there rioting, looting, burning, and all this kind of foolishness. So, just so you know, if it ever happens again and I see that image, if I get emotional behind it, well, there's a reason for it. Marty, is Debbie's a Baton Rouge girl, right? Well, I know she's a Louisiana girl, from New Orleans. Okay, Debbie Traylor hails from New Orleans. She's a Louisiana girl. If you see the video again in the future, pay attention to the very last shot. There is an astronaut. And I guess at some point we're going to have to come up with a new term, because astronaut is probably going to end up being sexist. Well, astronaut is just always referred to men, so we need a new term for the women, astro whatever. But you'll see a young lady in a flight suit and a helmet blasting off. She's a Baton Rouge girl too, Alyssa Carson. We've had her on the show before, and you probably know all about her by now. It's just good to see Louisiana girls, Baton Rouge girls, standing up with pride for the country I love. Just doesn't get any better than that. Just saying. Let me bang this commercial break out of the way. We'll do it, come back and talk more with you, right where you've got it, on the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to hour 2 of our midweek edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. It just dawned on me in the last commercial break. Y'all forgive me because I did not give the snowflakes out there that may have stumbled across my show. I didn't give them a heads up so that they could run to their safe space. Because there were American flags in Debbie's video. But the good news is they can now run to their cry closet and recover. Y'all know about the cry closets, right? The universities that, in an effort to help their students deal with the stress of exams and the like, they have put in what they call cry closets. It's a room about the size of a closet, and it's filled with stuffed animals, and there's rainbows and unicorns and whatnot. And when you get to the point where it's just all so overwhelming, well, you can go to your cry closet and have your good little cry, and then you come out and hopefully you're ready to take on the world. And these days people are triggered by so many things, particularly the sight of the American flag, that I guess now in hindsight and retrospect, I should have given the snowflakes that just happened to, be flipping through the channel and say, oh, what's this? And didn't realize, oh my God, there's American flags in the video, oh my God. So, just go to your cry closet and everything will be okay. Speaking of people being triggered by the American flag, just when you thought we as Americans could not become any more wussed out, and y'all know that's not what I wanted to say, but it's a family show, so I have to, keep it clean. Along comes our friends next door in the Lone Star State at Baylor University. Have you heard about this? Every year at Baylor, to commemorate those who died on 9/11, and particularly first responders, as well as other citizens, they put together a memorial. I want to say it's the College Conservatives or the Young Conservatives of Texas. Every year, put together this memorial that consists of 2,977 American flags. It's to honor those that died on September 11th. This year at Baylor, sure enough, they put the memorial together. It's an annual event. But this year, someone in the administration decided there needed to be a warning sign outside this memorial of 2,977 American flags. The warning sign says, quote, "Please be advised, sensitive content." Now, there weren't any pictures of innocent people throwing themselves out of one of the two towers because of the flames and they couldn't stand it anymore. There weren't any depictions of some artist rendering of people fighting hijackers on the planes before it slammed into the ground in Pennsylvania. Nothing graphic, just 2,977 American flags. Warning, sensitive content. As you might imagine, the you-know-what hit the fan. In a statement, the administration at Baylor University claimed that they fully support the 9/11 memorial. Quote, "Baylor University fully supports the 9/11 display of American flags depicting the thousands of lives lost as a result of the attacks that took place 19 years ago." Lori Fogelman, by the way, is the spokesperson for Baylor and issued this statement. She claimed that the sign was placed there, warning, sensitive content. The sign was placed there to warn students that might experience an emotional reaction to the flag display. Quote, "Out of reverence for the exhibit of flags, and in knowing that its moving symbolism could evoke a wide range of emotions, signage was placed near the display, notifying those who passed by it of its potential impact." It goes on to say, This is a standard part of our process regarding outdoor displays, which we implemented last year based on feedback from our campus community. We regret that the signage we used has taken away from the intent of the display and apologize for any misunderstanding this may have caused. There are those out there that look at us conservatives and accuse us of being conspiracy theorists when it comes to what takes place on college campuses these days and has been taking place for quite some time. There are those out there that will debate us as to whether or not academia, and particularly higher education, has been hijacked by the liberal agenda. There are those out there that call us all sorts of ugly names when we stand up for patriotism. This pretty much tells you everything you need to know. And quite frankly, it should be emotional. You should, if you're an American, you should get goosebumps. The hair on your neck should stand up. You ought to get teary-eyed when you look at 2,977 American flags representing the lives that were lost. It's supposed to be emotional. But, of course, these days, well, we don't want to offend anybody, and we don't want nobody's feelings to be hurt, and, you know, we're sensitive to these things. And you wonder why we find ourselves where we find ourselves? It is truly a sad commentary. And I just wonder, and I guess it's a toss-up, if folks these days, Americans, so-called, these days, would have been the generation when Pearl Harbor was attacked. I wonder, and I guess again, it's a toss-up, what would we be speaking? German or Japanese? Some of y'all ain't gonna get that till later. That's okay, long as you get it. If you have to go and, you know, find a member of the greatest generation and say, I was watching this show the other day, this is a black guy, conservative, named Clarence Buggs. He was saying if millennials and people these days were where y'all were, the greatest generation, when Pearl Harbor was attacked, he wondered, will we be speaking German or Japanese? What's he talking about? They'll fill you in. They'll fill you in. To be triggered by the American flag, if you fit into that category, if you ever find the time, take a trip to Arlington National Cemetery. Take a trip to Port Hudson National Cemetery. Take a trip to any national cemetery in America. They're real easy to spot. There's one right here in the capital city at the corner of 22nd and Florida. You know what it is when you pass by, because all of the grave markers are with military precision set in rows. Spend a little time in one of those and reflect. And despite what they taught you in American history class in school these days, despite what they tell you on CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of the mainstream media, spend a little time in one of those places and reflect. And maybe you'll figure it out. Maybe the next time, instead of them having to erect a sign outside the 9/11 memorial warning sensitive content, maybe you'll ask them to instead put up a sign, something along the lines of patriotism on display, or proud Americans reside here. I would like to think you get it. Of course, now looking around these days, at the rate things are going, maybe, maybe not. Final break of today's show. We'll bang it out, come back, put a big old bow on this puppy, wrap it up, and get on out of here on the midweek edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Stay close.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Mask help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask. Wash your hands and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up. Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to the final segment of our midweek edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, for a country that has so much promise, it is a long list that I could compile of things that I hope we will come to terms with and get past, get over in this country. Not the least of which is this idiotic, mistaken notion that we have the right, the expectation to not be offended. Where in God's name this came from, I do not know. But the number of people that are of the opinion, well, I should have the right not to be offended. I shouldn't have to see anything offensive. I shouldn't have to hear anything offensive. I should have the right to live my life and never be offended. I don't know where these fools came up with this notion. And they proclaim this as though it's a, quote, right, as in enshrined in the Bill of Rights. You don't have that right, y'all. You know why you know you don't have the right? Because it's not listed in the Bill of Rights. You cannot, nor should you, expect to go through this existence that we call life and not be offended. I often, and those of you that are so very fortunate as to still have your parents living, let me encourage you to hug them while you got them. Because the day will come, unless you are so unfortunate as to die before them, a day will come where you won't have them anymore. And if you are like me and countless others, the older you get, the more wisdom you realize your parents had. I often look at all the stories out there these days about individuals that did something, whatever it was, because they were offended by something they saw, read, heard, whatever. I often wonder, as I see all these various stories, what would my late father have said if whatever happened and it's time for me to go to work in the family business in the grocery store, and I would have told my father, well, I'm not coming into work today, Dad. Well, why not? Well, I was offended by whatever it was that offended me. A father that wore the uniform of the United States Army for 27 years, I think y'all already know what he probably would have said and or done. This is something that if we don't get a handle on, we're going to be in some serious trouble, y'all. When we start demanding and expecting that laws be written and enforced only because your precious little feelings were hurt, we're in a world of trouble, y'all. Because here's the thing. You will never run out of people that will be offended by whatever. You will never have a shortage of people that can find something to be offended about. Today, you're the one offended by whatever. So you demand that we pass a law so that I don't have to be offended by that. Well, what happens when you do something that someone else is offended by? You see the perpetual nature of that? How it just goes round and round and round. And if I could quote the great philosopher George Clinton, the Parliament P-Funk, we find ourselves like the dog chasing his tail. Lyrics, Atomic Dog. You ought to get that later. Don't worry about it. Not only have we allowed that sentiment to take hold in our country, we have allowed it to prosper, and we have allowed it to become so ingrained that we are now approaching a point where we want legislation to ensure that we don't have to be offended. If ever there was something that ran 180 degrees counter to what this great representative republic is supposed to be all about, that's it. That's it. So in other words, the next time you find yourself triggered because you were offended, buck up, buttercup. Man up, dog. Get over it. And get over yourself. Because quite frankly, the rest of us don't care. And in all likelihood, if you are so fortunate for the good Lord to continue to leave you here, to bless you to keep on living, there'll be something else to come along that you will be offended by again. And guess what? The world will continue to turn on its axis. The sun will come up in the east and set in the west. And we won't, in hindsight, need a law to protect your precious little feelings. My time's up, and I gotta go. But this day, more than ever, and I hope this upsets your feelings, you right. America, we're not perfect, but doggone it, for my money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other. And I'll see you on Monday. Love you much. God bless.